Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.
Hello and welcome to No Office, No Studio, a podcast about work, technology, and life from a remote company perspective. My name is Rafał Sobolewski, and as always, I'm joined by CEO of our remote company and my good friend, Michael Stevinsky. Michael, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited because we are going to see each other in just a few days.
Yes, we are going for Nozbe reunion next week, and I cannot wait to see you and the whole team and to hang out. And we will also be do some volunteer work for helping Ukrainians in the city of Lublin.
Yes, we'll be in the beautiful city of Lublin.
Yeah, let's call it in Polish way.
In Polish, Lublin.
It
makes more sense.
It sounds strange, Lublin.
Yeah, so we will be in the city of Lublin, which is 82 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. So very, very close to Ukrainian border. That's why I suppose there will be lots of refugees coming in, and they're already there. Like to this day, there are more than 2 million people who came from Ukraine to Poland already because of this war. The thing is, the whole purpose of Nozbe reunion is to hang out together. It's not to work much. It's not to work a lot and discuss lots of things. It is a team building exercise to just be together. That's the main purpose of the reunion. We are not planning any special, things to really do, because we are so good at doing things remotely and doing things in an office way that we don't really need that. We need to hang out as people to just build a better team. So hanging out by helping others, I think it's great. I think this is good because then we see each other in action and we help each other. We see that there is something we can do with our hands, with our minds, with our being.
Yes, and many people in our team asked to organize something like this, so they can help, and then we can also learn how this, because we will go to the bigger volunteer center, some storehouse for the staff collected for refugees. So I think we will learn some skills there also. So that would be nice. Will be nice.
Yeah, it will be nice. So that's why I think we were when the war started, we were thinking, or should we continue with the reunion in the same place? Like, what should we do? But as long as still hopefully there is no immediate threat of an attack from Russia, we are still safe in Poland. But Ukrainians are not safe in Ukraine, so we have to help them as much as we can. That's why, if we can get involved, because we are already involved. We already mentioned in the previous episodes how we are helping Ukraine. What we haven't mentioned is that we also blocked Russians from using Nozbe, and so we did all that. And now let's just get our hands dirty and help others.
Yep, can't wait. And today we wanted to talk about hybrid work, because no office as an idea is not only about working from home, but working from many different places, the places that each employee can choose by themselves.
Yeah, that's the whole gist of my book, No Office. And we'll talk about my book, actually, and the schedule of launch of my book later in this episode. But the whole idea of No Office lifestyle, as I call it, is that office is a tool. You might have it, you might not have it. You don't have to be as extreme as we are, that we don't have any office. You can have an office or offices, but use them as a tool for specific purposes, but not as something that you have to go to. Like, work is not a place to go, it's a thing you do. That's why I think the future will be hybrid. The future will be hybrid in that sense that people will sometimes work from the office and sometimes they will not. It just depends on how they will, feel in the moment, how they will see it, and that's why I think this is the future.
Yeah, I think even that it's a present already. I have many friends that used to work like in the office, going to the office, doing some IT work, and now they work like, for example, 4 days from home, and 1 day in a week they go to the office.
Yeah, and I see that also in my close environment of people who used to go to the office all the time. You know, because of the 2 years of the pandemic, I think people felt the freedom and felt finally what we've been saying all these years, that it is possible to work from home. Like, Rafa, you remember before 2019, everybody would be like, before 2020 actually, so it's
Yeah.
still in 2019, people would still tell us, no, working from home is impossible. It wouldn't work in our case. And now people have felt the freedom. They have felt that sometimes when they stay at home, they are very productive because there are no disruptions, no unnecessary meetings. They can just get stuff done, write so many things, work on these concepts. People see that this flexibility. But I would argue that one of the main prerequisites of hybrid to work is to let people decide, is to not force them like Apple. You have to be on this day in the office and this day you maybe not. You have to be able to have the agency to choose. I'm going to office on Monday, but I'm not going to office on Tuesday. Like, you should decide based on, what you think, how you see your work, how you see your team. Like, you should be able to decide.
Yes, exactly. And with this approach, I think before 2020, Office was a tool for the management, for the company management, yeah, to gather all the
exactly.
employees. Now, with this hybrid approach for the companies who embraced it, the Office became a tool for your employees.
Exactly.
So they can choose to work from the office if they need to. If they, for example, don't have a spare room in home to create a home office environment that, well, they could do a focus work, or for some reason they prefer to work from office. They can choose to do that, or they can, as I said, they can choose to go to the office for only 1 or 2 days per week, which is actually, I think it's a perfect solution because it gives you some, always a small change of the daily routine is always stimulating your creativity.
Yeah. So the first thing, as we agreed, you have to let people decide when they use the tool of an office, when they use it, how they use it. And again, they should be able to choose it based on all these circumstances, how the team is working, how is the progress on projects, like everything like this. So this is the one thing. Second, because it's a flexible place, suddenly people can, for example, come to the office a little bit later. For example, they can do some work in the morning at home and then go when there is no more traffic jams. Like, just think about it. Normally, everybody goes around 7 or 8 a.m., right? So then there are all the traffic jams. But I see that with lots of my friends, that they just come to the office later because they know that they can do some, uh, morning catch up, email, whatever, like stuff in with their own coffee in the morning, and then they go to the office around 11. There is nobody on the streets. Like, they just drive instead of being stuck in 1 hour in a traffic jam. It takes them 20 minutes, for example. And then they're there, and then they get stuff done in the office, and then they choose the time when they come back. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's the way to go to this hybrid work or working from home. Really, you can save many hours per year by not commuting with a car during rush hours. Yeah, and I really, one thing I miss from going to the office is like morning commute but not in a car, but riding a bike. So now when we finally like pandemic is it's not over yet, but currently we are in the good moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to having my Fridays away from my home office, and
That's brilliant.
go to some coffee place or to local community center, or just grab my MacBook and iPad and just ride a bike for some time and work from some place else.
Yeah, I mean that's what it should be all about. So this kind of freedom to work like this. So that's the prerequisite of hybrid. And but to do hybrid well, it does require some involvement from the management because things have to be organized differently. For once, meetings. Let's talk about meetings. So first of all, if you go to nozbe.com/meetings, you will understand why you don't have to have so many meetings, how we do meetings, and that meetings are, optional, regular, and well prepared. And you will, learn more about that there. But the idea about meetings is that because we are in a hybrid world, meetings have to be virtual, all of them, even if most of the people are in the office. Because this was according to my friends who changed the lifestyle from going to office all the time. They said that this made a huge difference because before the pandemic, some of them did have some flexibility to work from home, but because every day they would have a meeting, they would barely go home because they stay home because they would know, oh man, I have a meeting, so I better go. I have a meeting again, I better go. But now that meetings are virtual first, nobody is in disadvantage. Like, some people who are in the office, great, but some people who are not in the office, all of them meet virtually. So the meeting is happening virtually. And this way, nobody is left out. And everybody is treated on the same footing. It's not like we in the office and the other guys.
Yes, exactly. And you don't feel left out. And I remember such situations in my previous job. It was like back in 10 years ago.
Many years
Even,
ago, man.
10 years ago. Yeah, I had the possibility to work from home for one day in a week if I asked my boss.
Politely.
But still, if I'm not at the meeting or I cannot, the people were used to make decisions based on face-to-face meetings. In the coffee, etc. And now with this hybrid approach, the company must be set up the way that everyone can work from home. And the communication is asynchronous, and if meetings are required, meetings are all virtual. And that way it works. It really works. Look at our reunion, because there is always this pressure from people who want to keep the things how they were. Like everyone should be in the office to build the company's culture.
Yes.
But company's culture is built not by hanging out in the kitchen in the office with coffee, but by doing a great work together. And that's why our Nozbe reunions are so great, because we are building company culture every day by working asynchronously, and then we can meet and hang out, and we really love to spend time together. We are not tired of each other.
Exactly. And when you think about it, it's another myth that has been broken, because again, people would look at us pre-pandemic and say, virtual meetings are okay, but it's not the same as when we can be in the same room. The chemistry is there, the vibrations and everything. This makes the meeting so much different. Now, the same people who have virtual meetings are saying, no, virtual meetings are pretty good. They're pretty great. I feel very well connected with my team. It's something we've been saying all the time. Like, on our design fight meeting or on our directors meeting, when we have coffee together, we have a good meeting. We laugh, we shout, we quarrel, we fight, we do everything. It's a very serious meeting. Okay, we cannot punch each other because we're not in the same place, but punching somebody is not really good anyway. So don't try this at work.
But we cannot high five.
we cannot high five. Yeah, that's the major drawback. But apart from that, apart from not being able to high five, everything works. The meetings are real. The meetings are exhausting. So they are real. This is true. So again, I'm happy that this other myth is being debunked by just explaining to, but just experiencing it themselves, like by seeing a virtual first meeting is fine. We feel we are in there together. And then when you have the office, when some of you from this meeting are in the office anyway, then after the meeting, go have a coffee and hang out. You know, don't spend the time on the meeting together, but just do the virtual meeting and then go get a coffee. This way, you socialize, you create this culture, you create this bond.
Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, I think virtual meeting, at least for me, are more exhausting than face-to-face meetings. But that is why you should optimize for asynchronous communication and do meetings only if they are really needed.
But why are they more exhausting for you? Do you know? Like, can you pinpoint?
No, I think it requires more focus, more active focus to really be focused on the conversation and not be distracted by the other things on the screen.
Okay,
because
that's true.
If we have like physical meeting, like we are in the same room, like it's it's obvious that we don't have laptops opened and we only have some notes, yeah, and yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why when we have a meeting, I prefer to put Zoom in full screen mode, or half screen mode Zoom, and then the other half screen the notes for this meeting.
Yes.
And nothing else. So this way, the rest of the stuff from the from the screen is gone. So I don't see there are I'm not tempted by other distractions, by other notifications, by other things. For example, yesterday we had the quality support meeting. This is the meeting where we review support tickets and see what we can improve, and what are the common requests now and all that stuff. And for that meeting, for example, I have a shortcut on my iPad, and I have it on my iPad actually, the meeting, because I enjoy it like this. So I have a shortcut that it shows me Zoom and Dropbox Paper, where we have the notes for the meeting in split screen.
Yeah.
So this way, on Zoom, I can see the people, and then I have on the other side, I have the notes. And this way, I can just go through the notes with the team and just see people with camera. And I'm not distracted that much. And actually, to make the meeting kind of more casual, I just take my iPad and sit on the couch, so that it's just it's more comfortable. It's more like relaxed. So there are ways to making virtual meetings a little bit less stressful.
Yeah, I need to try this, to take my MacBook or iPad to the couch or to my comfy chair and have a meeting there.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's I like it like this. I actually started enjoying having, for example, QS meeting like this. Very very comfortable. So this is the another prerequisite to hybrid. And now I would also like to talk about the actual gadgets, so the actual computers and stuff that should be enabled by the company to go for the employees to be fully hybrid. And we will be talking about this because our actually setups have changed. My setup has changed. Yours has improved, but mine has changed almost completely. So we'll talk about it right after the break. But first, before the break, I want to just point it out. So, and this is one of the companies I know. It's a big company, and this company did it already before the pandemic, which was a brilliant move. They gave everyone. So everybody had a computer at their desk before before 2019, and then in 2019 they had this whole push to give everyone a laptop. This way, people could just connect the laptop to their screens in the office, and if they wanted to work remotely from home, once a week maybe, before the pandemic, now they're working more, so they could just take the laptop with them. So this way they have everything set up. And because this company is pretty security conscious. They have the VPNs and all that stuff set up. So they wanted the laptops to be really well set up, so that when they connect to a, even external Wi-Fi, the automatically the laptop connects using the VPN, all that stuff, so that it's all secure and then it's all done in a very secure way. And the company wanted to control it. That's why they gave the laptops and they set up the laptops for the team members. And what they didn't do initially is they didn't give additional screens to the homes of these people. But of course, as pandemic hit, they realized, oh crap, we need the screens. I was actually ahead of the curve, because once my wife got a laptop, I bought her a screen right away, because I thought, she needs a screen for that anyway. But that's what I'm saying, that the company should provide a laptop, a company mandated laptop, for example, or the same kind of laptop. We have our preferences, we talk about later, but a good laptop and an external screen, both in the office and at home. And because some screens are not that expensive as Mac Studio Display, which we'll talk about it later, but some screens are usually pretty cheap. I mean, good panels, actually, good screens are pretty cheap. So it's not really a big expense, but it's a boost of productivity that people can just go to their home, connect the laptop to the screen and to the charger and just work, and then go back to the office, do the very same thing, and just continue working. Also, another pro tip, 2 chargers. 1 charger at work, 1 charger at home, because traveling with chargers doesn't make any sense, because you will forget the charger and then you will be screwed. So it's the best way is to have a charger both at home and at work.
Yeah, and actually, the good display should have a charger built in via USB-C for a laptop. Yeah, so that would be the best. But of course, we know that the reality in many companies are that they just buy the cheapest one, and
yeah, I mean, they do all these things, like they have this offer from a IT company about, for like, I don't know, 100 laptops, right? So they go with the, cheaper option because it's 100 laptops. So, when you can save 100 euros on a 100 laptops, it's, it's 10,000 euros. So it is of savings. But I would argue that the laptops should be good, because I've seen really crappy laptops being given to people, and it's not good, because then they're not compatible with the screens, or they're doing something, it's
or you have a 4K screen and you want to connect the laptop and it's only 30 hertz instead of 60 FPS, so you are hurting your eyes while working.
Yes. So all these things. So just to, I think the company should step up here to just make sure that people have the same setup. And the good thing is that then they can change the setup in the office, because they don't need as many spaces to work for people, because usually not everyone will be at work. So they can actually save some money on the setups and do more like kind of hot desking environment, where people just, choose a desk, which is, get a desk which is available, connect their laptop, and it just works. And that's it. I mean, I see when I was, reading about, many businesses, I was reading, for example, about Ryanair Airlines. Ryanair Airlines is my favorite airline, because, it connects my 2 favorite cities. So, and I have to choose them. But Ryanair is the cheap airline of Europe. It's the biggest airline in Europe, but also is the, low fares airlines. Yeah. And one of the ways how they get low fares is because they have the same planes. They don't have a fleet of different planes. All of them are Boeing 737-800. All of them. Now they are upgrading to a newer model, so newer version of it, but it's still the same plane. So for everyone, for the flight attendants, for the pilots, is the same plane every time. They don't have to learn new things. They don't have to go through a different checklist in each plane. It's all the same. The parts are the same. If you need to upgrade parts, or get some more parts to, I don't know, for maintenance, it's all the same. And I think this is the key for the companies. That companies should, decide one year, we're going to buy these laptops and these screens, and then there is no like, I don't have the cable, I don't have that. It's all the same. So people can just connect and it's uniform. Some people don't like uniformity. I understand that, but here it's for productivity, for just making it just easier for the whole company to work.
Yeah, that's very good approach. All right, so shall we take a break
Yeah.
right now? And all right, so No Office podcast is sponsored by Nozbe, the fastest way to done, a task-based async communication app for personal, family, and business use. Let's hear what our customers say about Nozbe.
Once I started using Nozbe, that's when we started to really think beyond like a freelance mindset to more of a team mindset. And the beauty of it is that we can have a remote team. So we could hire people based on their credentials or based on, relationships that we had with people that we knew would be really good, and didn't have to hire based on location and somebody that's within, a mile radius, something close to where we were. It also, Nozbe is very intuitive and easy for a team to use. So as we add new people, whether it's a contractor or an employee to the team, we can get them set up with Nozbe, and within really an hour, they can see projects and tasks that are assigned to them, and start working. So most of our teams really take in Nozbe pretty easily.
And we're back, and that's the time we will geek out, because there was an Apple event, our favorite company event. They announced some stuff. I'm not buying anything from these announcements, but I'm still excited about them. So maybe let's talk about it for 5-10 minutes, and then we can jump to our what we have recently changed in our setups and how it connects with all this hybrid work approach.
Exactly, because really today our setups, our home office setups, will be very connected to the subject of hybrid work. So stay with us with that.
Yes, and also to the subject, kind of about new stuff that Apple showed us, because you were hoping for the new iMac, the new big iMac, but I think it's not gonna happen.
So I've been using, as you know, in my home office, an 27-inch 5K iMac for the last 7 years. So the same iMac, like really, I haven't changed a computer, my main home office computer, in 7 years, because for me the 27-inch iMac is kind of additional computer to my iPad, because iPad is my main work device. And I just liked the 27-inch screen, Retina 27-inch screen, where I could just put things. It's a very good reference point, and it's a good, thing to have. So this was I was hoping that after the 24-inch iMac was launched last year, they would just upgrade to 27-inch, also with new design, also with, the M1 processor, M1, I don't know, Max, Pro, Ultra, whatever. In the end, they killed the 27-inch iMac. There is no 27-inch iMac. They launched a 27-inch screen. So you can get a 5K 27-inch display, which is great. But also, if you want to have a computer for the office, you would just need to buy the Mac Studio, the new Mac Studio.
Yeah, because it's a Mac for your studio, not for the office.
Exactly, it's a Mac for your studio. And because I don't have a studio, I have an office, it doesn't fit. So they launched the 27-inch display with the Mac Studio display, and then Mac Studio, the computer, with the super ultra fantastic, very fast processor.
Yes, and actually, the Studio display is what many users were asking Apple for years, and they are very happy right now. Because it's what they wanted, the same screen which iMac had, and but just the display that you can connect to your Mac Mini, to Mac Studio, or to MacBook.
Yeah, I'm still kind of sad that my 27-inch iMac is going away, and the one that I have has very good display. It has some image retention issues, but apart from that, it's pretty good display. But I cannot use it as a display. It's impossible to change it to a just display. So I will have to sell it with the display. And that's so I think like, people are skeptical. Some people, just like me, initially were sad, but I think in the grand scheme of things, they did right. I mean, if you need an all-in-one, get the 24-inch. It's big enough. It's beautiful. So if you need for reception, for all these other things that you really need a nice, fancy all-in-one, get a 24-inch. It's great, and it has an M1 processor. It's very plenty fast. It's a great computer. So, and it is colorful, really, so many colors. So it's a good thing. But for professional use, it's actually better and more modular to have the computer and the screens. And of course, Apple, was supposed to launch a screen many years ago, because like they have, just like you have the 14-inch or the 16-inch MacBook Pros, which were asking for an additional screen, and people had to figure out screen situation just like you did, because there was no option from Apple.
Yes, that's true. And now with this change, iMac finally is the computer that was it was launched originally in 90s or in 2000s?
No, the first iMac in the 90s, yes.
In the 90s, yeah, and it was the consumer line
Yes.
computer, yeah, and with years it became like consumer plus professional, so prosumer, and yeah, and we even had iMac Pro, which was kind of the same form factor, but some better cooling, etc. And now they don't compromise on this anymore. They just gave what really this people like that has studios really want, because I think this modular approach is much better, and you can have a nice display and update a computer to this display after a couple of years.
Exactly. So, Rafa, my question to you, because you got the MacBook Pro when the MacBook Pros launched, and you needed a display for that. You figured out a solution, as we discussed in the previous episodes. So, aren't you tempted to get the Mac Studio display?
Not at all.
Why not?
At all, Michael. Because I was afraid that if I decide to buy some display before Apple announced their own display dedicated to those MacBooks, I will be sad. But after the conference, after having my new display right here for half the price of Studio display, I'm really glad, because 5K is really nice for 27-inch display, but you really don't need it. Like, okay, there will be some group of people who really needs this pixel density, but I have my display like, I don't know, 60 centimeters away from my eyes. So you don't need pixel density to be so high at iPhone or iPad level.
Yeah.
There's the font, the image is really sharp with 4K at 27 or even 32-inch, which option I finally chosen, because now I have 4K Philips Momentum 32-inch display, which is I will add a podcast chapter so you can see it. And it is really nice, really big. I have plenty of space to put even like 6 apps side by side. I still have some place to grab files from the desktop, and the image is really sharp. I don't see any pixels. My eyes are fine, and I'm really glad I bought this. And because I wanted to have one display that I can connect to my MacBook, but also to my PlayStation for fun, for gaming. And this screen supports high refresh rate, 120 hertz via HDMI 2.1, and I have it connected via HDMI 2.1 with PlayStation 5. But also it supports 120 hertz 4K via USB-C.
Perfect.
To my MacBook. But what I've learned by using it, it's when you have the display that far away from your eyes, you really don't notice the difference that much between 60 hertz and 128.
Okay.
So yeah, because when I have 128 hertz via USB-C to my MacBook, the USB-A hub that is built into this display, I have 4 USB-A ports, and I'm using all of them, are USB 2.0 if I choose 128 hertz.
Oh, yeah.
If I switch to 4K 60 hertz, now that they are USB 3.0, and I need 3.0 bandwidth to connect this camera, so it doesn't have a lag, and to connect my Ethernet.
Okay.
Because with USB 2.0, it limits it to 300 megabits per second, and I have 1 gigabit
Wow.
bandwidth. So yeah. Yeah, and it has ambi-glow lights, as you can see in the picture.
Yeah.
So it looks really nice.
I mean,
yeah,
the display
and I
comes with
love
these
it.
lights?
Yes, it has it built in.
Cool. Yeah, it's Philips. Like I have a
Yes.
Philips TV screen with Ambilight, and it's glorious. It's perfect for watching for watching Netflix and stuff. So yeah, okay. So even the monitors have the Ambilight. Nice.
Yeah, like gaming monitors are the growing market right now.
Because it is a gaming monitor, right?
Yeah, it is dedicated for gaming. It had not even like Xbox certified something sticker, etc.
Okay.
So yeah, and gaming, and it has HDR. So the screen is really bright, but I use it only for gaming. Because for office work, it would burn my eyes if I use it for office work. So yeah, I really like it. I've set it for scaled mode. So I have screen real estate is 3008 pixels per 1692. So it's exactly the screen real estate is exactly the same as on 6K Apple XDR display.
Wow.
So yeah, I love it. And recently we discovered this Rectangle app that is open source app to manage Windows. So with the keyboard shortcuts, you can put the Windows into upper left corner, in the center, etc., etc. There are many options, and it works great. Plus, which is really nice to talking about Windows and resizing them, Nozbe app, Nozbe web app, and Beta Mac app is responsive right now. So you can really have a small narrow window of your on one task or only on priority list for your focus work, and and that's really nice when you want to have many windows in the screen. So yeah, that's how it looks like right now, and I think that's the way to go, because it is half of this monitor costs half the price of Studio Display. So actually, with the price of Studio Display, I could buy 2 of them, one for home office and second to other office if I had one.
Yeah. It's especially for your usage when you want to use this screen for both, work and play, because you want to connect, the PlayStation and stuff. So with Mac Studio Display, this wouldn't be possible. You wouldn't be able to do it like this.
It would be possible. I could connect PlayStation 5, but I wouldn't get 128 hertz. Yeah, and I would need a special cable for it, and etc.
Yeah, and also you would have to actually plug and unplug the cables and stuff, right? Like you wouldn't be able to do it.
Yes, because there's only one input. Yeah, the other 3 ports are USB-C, and they are only for USB hub. Yeah.
Exactly. So actually, for use case, this monitor is better than the Mac Studio Display.
Yeah, but to be fair, it takes, when I grab my MacBook and put it on the plate next to the monitor and connect monitor, it takes like 2-3 seconds to screen to pop up the macOS on this big display. So, and in Mac Studio Display, it's just instant.
That's true. So yeah, I mean, there is no argument that the Mac Studio Display has some really nice, cool Apple features. It is, I'm sure, designed nicer than your screen because it's all aluminum. It's very, very beautiful. Also, it has, it works perfectly with the with the Macs. So it's totally. But on the other hand, and the price is okay-ish. It's not very expensive, but it's also not very cheap. Like it's still $1,600, so $1,600. So it's pretty steep for a screen. So I was actually going to order it, and I placed my order.
Happened?
Yeah, I placed my
you
order.
even placed your order.
Yes, with my reseller. But then when my reseller said that I have to pay now for the thing to order, and I was like, no. So what happened was that I figured out that I have a good 4K 27-inch screen, the one that my wife was using, and I can get her actually a 28-inch 4K display that will be compatible with her crappy Windows laptop that she got from the office, from her office, and for her it would be the same, and 1 inch more actually of the screen estate. So for her it would be the same anyway. And for me, the display that she had, it's a 4K LG display, which cost me like $500, I think, and it charges the laptop from USB-C. And it doesn't charge her laptop from USB-C because her laptop is a Windows laptop. And yeah, I'm sorry for crapping on Windows to this much, but there is a difference really. Like her laptop is not Retina display. Like it's a no. After being in the Mac, like I wouldn't be able to work on this thing. I'm too posh for that right now anymore. Just kidding, but I'm just used to the Retina screen. And what happened to me is that I actually had an M1 MacBook Air, which I didn't have because I ordered it a year ago, and I rented it to Raju, the podcast co-host, because he had his old MacBook Pro and he was waiting for the M1 MacBook Pro. And in the meantime, he wanted to do some work on M1 sensors to make sure that everything that we do at Nozbe works with M1. So he borrowed it from me and he didn't want to give it back. And finally, he gave it back when he got the 14-inch MacBook Pro, just like you did. And I visited him in his home, and I got my MacBook Air back. And when I got the MacBook Air back, I was, as everyone else, blown away by the M1 speeds. Like, this computer is just glorious. It's a MacBook Air, so it's the least powerful of the Apple laptops, but it's still, for me, for my use, it's plenty powerful. It's like I don't need more power. It has no fans, so it's completely quiet, and it just works beautifully.
Yeah, you got some features of your iPad into the MacBook.
Exactly, and of course, with my old iMac, I couldn't be on the latest Monterey anymore because my iMac is so old. Yeah. And here I'm on the latest Monterey, so I'm on the latest Mac OS, which is great because I wanted to be on the latest processor, latest operating systems here. So I got the MacBook Air, and then I got the same conundrum, like which screen to get. And I wanted to be, Apple only setup to get the Mac Studio display. But when I connected my wife's, I decided, I'm going to connect my wife's screen first to see how it works. And I was blown away. It works very well. It charges my MacBook Air. It works very well. It works very fast. It's fantastic. So, and the screen, again, I also upscaled it. I don't have it in Retina 4K, but I have it upscaled. So basically, I get the same screen estate that I had with my iMac anyway. Yeah. And I don't see the pixels anyway.
Yeah.
So
the
it's
font
fine.
is very sharp. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's fine. So really, in the end, I thought, why? And I have a very good webcam. I have the Brio, which I use for normal video conferencing. And here you can see me, of course, in my with my super camera, Sony camera. But normally I use Logitech Brio, which is plenty enough webcam. Actually, it's better webcam than the Mac display than the Mac Studio display has, because Logitech is 4K. So I have the very good webcam. And the only thing I don't have is very good speakers, because the LG monitor speakers are
But you have a
okay-ish.
HomePod Mini, I guess.
I don't have the HomePod Mini anymore here in my office, so I might get it again. I had to use it for different purpose, so it's not here anymore. But HomePod Mini can be like a speakers, like for the Mac, right?
I think, yeah, it supports AirPlay, so it should be.
Okay, I'll check it out. So anyway, apart from that, everything works. So I decided to stick with it. So the only thing to figure out was, and I'm not going to bore you with the whole setup, how many hubs, USB hubs I had to figure out, because the MacBook Air has only 2 ports. So I had to figure out all these ports and hubs and everything. I'm going to write it up at some point on my blog, for all the curious people how to figure out.
I saw that you have a hub connected to a hub.
Exactly. I have a hub connected to a hub, and this way I can use all these 2 ports and have full bandwidth everywhere I need. So for example, the same what you said, to have full bandwidth here for the Sony screen, for the Sony camera, not to have any lag.
And to the Ethernet.
And to the Ethernet, I have 1 gigabit Ethernet thanks to that. So like all these things had to be precisely connected. The good thing is I figured it out, and it's pretty cheaply though. I didn't need to buy a fancy $200, or $300 Thunderbolt 4 hub or something like this. Actually, pretty cheaply I could figure it out. So it works. That's why I can tell you honestly, let's go back to the hybrid work. For me, the best recommendation for people for hybrid mode is get the MacBook Air for your team. The MacBook Air is really great, and unless you're a developer or unless you really need the power of the M1 Pro or M1 Max, MacBook Air, the M1 processor is fantastic. It's enough for most of the use cases. So get the MacBook Airs and get them an external screen, and that's it, and you're set. It's fantastic. So for me, this would be the recommendation. And if you calculate the price, one MacBook Air is $1,000. A good LG 4K is $500. So at $1,500, you're actually cheaper than the whole Mac Studio display. So this is my ultimate recommendation for a home office setup.
Yep, and that's really nice. And so you are now using MacBook Air, and do you use it only on your desk, or it happens that you grab it and use it, for example, on your lap instead of your iPad?
So I still prefer to use my iPad for most of the things, but because I had to do lots of Mac setting up, so I'm still finishing setting up my Mac, because I wanted to have everything set up the way I had it.
Me too. Actually, after like almost 3 months.
Yeah. So for that, very often I just take the laptop and just work on the laptop, somewhere at home, and I think this is additional mind change for me, because I had the 5K, the iMac, and it was great. But the problem with a computer like this is, first, you have to have a kind of power management thing, so an UPS, to make sure that when the electricity dies, and sometimes it does,
Yes.
that the Mac doesn't die instantly, because the normal computers don't have batteries. So the Mac dies in the same moment. So you have to have the power thing handled. When you have a laptop doesn't die. It has batteries. Actually, right now, because I'm using the Sony camera, and because I'm using this external display, a small external display, 10-inch display in the teleprompter, I had to unplug my main 4K display. So I'm running off the battery of the MacBook Air, and it's running fine. So the MacBook Air has great battery, and the cool thing is that it wouldn't die when you have a power problem. But additional thing, what you just said, sometimes you just want to grab the laptop and work from a different place. Just sit in the by the kitchen counter and just go through things. Organize your files, whatever. And for that, you cannot take your iMac with you. It's basically soldered to your home office. But when you have a laptop, it's more flexible. So I think in the end, I am going to be a convert to just this, laptop plus a screen lifestyle, instead of having a big 27-inch computer all in one or whatever. So, and I don't need the ultra power of the Mac Studio computer anyway. So I'm not tempted at all. And I'm telling you, the M1 processor is fine by me. It's for my use. It's more than enough. So there is no need for me to even have the MacBook Pro. I have the MacBook Air and I'm happy with it. So really, in the end, I really appreciate this new setup. And as I mentioned again in the hybrid part of our episode, this gives you the flexibility that you can have the laptop, which you can use anywhere when you're on a train, when you're traveling, whatever. But also you can just hook it up to a big screen in your office or at home in your home office, and you're good to go and you're productive. And with me, for example, I have this external keyboard as well. I have my trackpad, external trackpad. I have my Logitech mouse. So I have everything here connected. So it works perfectly. I'm not using the laptop keyboard when I'm in my home office. It's elevated, as you could see in the picture that Rafael showed you. It's elevated, and it's this way. It's more ergonomic. It's higher. It's right below my teleprompter, as you can see on the photo. But it's perfect. So yeah, I'm a convert, Rafael.
Yep. So that's nice. But the question is, do you bring your M1 MacBook Air with you to Nozbe reunion?
No.
So iPad still remains your main mobile computer.
Yeah, it's definitely my mobile computer. And as we mentioned, it's not like on the reunion we're gonna get so much work done. Like it's
yes, exactly. We have planned like 1 or 2 hours per day of work.
Yes, exactly. And my iPad is also very versatile. I have all the dongles, for example, to put the screen on the projector and all that stuff. So I really don't need the laptop for that. And so no, I'm not planning to go with my laptop anywhere. I travel. I still travel with my beautiful 13-inch iPad Pro, and it's still my main mobile device. I mean, it's still my main device actually. My laptop in my home office is still my home office computer. It sometimes leaves the home office here and there, but it's still the kind of my local computer. While my main computer, like whenever I get work done, I take the iPad.
Yeah.
This hasn't changed.
This hasn't changed because Federico Viticci even admitted that he's changing his setup to hybrid setup between MacBook Pro and iPad Pro.
Well, I understand it. I saw that also other people are doing that, but I don't need that. I need my laptop, my Mac here to locally download things, to have local copies here or local backup, all that stuff. Like I need that for it, but I don't need it for like really getting work done, because I really get my work done. I have everything set up very well on my iPad. I have my shortcuts. Okay, some of the shortcuts I will migrate to the Mac, of course, but I have really I prefer working on the iPad. It's just more joy. It has a touch screen, which I really love.
Yeah, the touch screen is really joy, but yeah, I really want to test this new universal control. They finally shipped it to macOS Monterey 12.3, I guess. And I tested it initially, and yeah, there are some lags with my Bluetooth mouse and keyboards, but it worked well if I had my MacBook Pro disconnected from external display. So for traveling, it would be actually a very nice setup, like MacBook Pro plus iPad Mini next to it as additional screen that I can run iPad apps there.
Yeah, I haven't. To be honest, I haven't tried universal control yet, so I'm gonna test it today or tomorrow more extensively. Especially that I got a very cool stand for my iPad. I'm gonna show it on the camera. It's a very cool stand. We're gonna add it as a chapter mark in the podcast. It's a very cool stand for the iPads. This way, I can use the iPad also in a vertical way. Because if it works magnetically, I put the iPad and can put it horizontal or vertical. And vertical, I can just type more, and I can use the same keyboard, external keyboard I have. I have Logitech keyboard, and I can just switch the Bluetooth devices, and this way I can just work.
You don't have to switch. You can use universal control.
Or I can use universal control, exactly.
Yes.
So exactly. So it's even better. That's why I'm going to test it. I'm going to see how it works. And by the way, I'm really, I one of the things I'm blown away is this old Logitech keyboard. This is a Logitech Case 760, I think. Yes, K760, and it's a solar keyboard, so it actually, charges with the solar, with sun and with light. And this keyboard is no longer available for purchase, and this keyboard is 10 years old now.
Yeah, I remember I had this exact keyboard when I was joining Nozbe.
And it's glorious, this keyboard. I'm so happy that I still have it, because it has the the Bluetooth switches, so I can switch to my old iMac still, because I'm still transferring data and all that stuff. So I can switch to my old iMac, I can switch to my new Mac, and I can switch to the iPad if I want to, or and then I'll use universal control. But still, I can switch between devices very easily with this keyboard, and I have never charged it in my life because of the solar thing. It just charges with the solar.
Mm.
So it's very nice to appreciate some devices that just last a lifetime. They last so many years.
Yeah, and speaking of keyboards, I will have a new keyboard in 2 months.
Again.
Yeah, again. Yeah, I sold the previous one, the previous mechanical keyboard I had. Now I use my old Microsoft Scout Ergonomic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's leave it for now. I will talk it in 2 months. That will be a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think we can wrap up this episode. So, guys, thanks for listening. And remember that, what day is tomorrow, Michael?
It's Friday.
Yes, so make it Mighty Friday. Do your weekly review, plan priorities for next week, and spend the rest of the day off on learning something new, some new skills, or test the tools you are using for day-to-day work, explore new features, for example, and have a great weekend. If you enjoyed this episode, please help support this podcast either by sharing it with a friend or leaving us a nice review in Apple Podcast. Or the best thing you can do is to check out our Nozbe app. That's it for today. Say goodbye, Michael.
And if you go to fridayisfree.com, you will be redirected to our Nozbe website. Well, you'll learn all about Mighty Fridays, also how to do a good weekly review. So everything is there, and you'll be able to set up your Nozbe account from there, just right there as well. So fridayisfree.com, go there.
Yes, and next month, after the reunion, we will run a product vlog about Mighty Fridays. So we will actually show in our Nozbe accounts how we approach Fridays inside the application.
All right.
So stay tuned. And yeah, that's it. Goodbye. This episode has not been created in the office, because in Nozbe there is no office. Your hosts were Michael Sliwinski and Rafał Sobolewski. All the links and show notes you can find on nooffice.fm/38. The whole production process of this episode has been coordinated in a project in the Nozbe app. Work is not a place to go, it is a thing that you do. Thank you, and see you in 2 weeks. Remember to have a Mighty Friday.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.